When I was 50, I asked myself, in 5 years, do you want to be asking yourself again, should I go back to school? Or do you want to be mostly finished with the process? My answer to that question was a huge reason that I decided to go ahead and go back to school. So I went back to school. The main driving focus for me in the beginning was to increase my income. I was starting over after a divorce without really any financial resources, no retirement, nothing to carry me through. So I knew that increasing my income would help me prepare for retirement much faster than continuing to work a low paying job. Also, I was working in a career that wasn't a great fit for me, that I didn't really have passion for. Yes, it was doable, but like I said, the income was lower and it wasn't really the direction that I saw for my future. So I was working as a registered dental assistant, and I wanted something that was more in alignment with working with survivors of domestic violence, narcissistic abuse. So at the beginning, I thought, well, maybe education could lead to me being a domestic violence advocate or something of that sort. I also wanted to find a career that I wanted to be in long term until retirement. Also, being older, it needed to be a field I could work in longer, like as an older woman. And I knew that working in the dental field was very hard on the body, and that was not something I saw myself doing long term. So it took me a while to find my way to schooling. When I was in the middle of the divorce, somebody asked me, actually, a couple people mentioned going to college to me. And at the time, I couldn't see a way for that to work. My youngest child was 3, 4, almost 5. Yeah. Well, no, she was 3. She turned 4. So, sorry, I'm doing the birth year, not like the month. But anyway, she was almost 4. And I just thought, I need to make enough money to reach stability and to provide a home for my children. And I just didn't see how I could go to school and make enough money to do that. And like I said, my youngest was still pretty young, wasn't even school age yet. And so I had to navigate, how do I care for this child for another year before she starts kindergarten, and make enough money to pay for an apartment, feed the kids, all of the things. So at that time, I just didn't see a way that it could work. So I set it aside. And when I set it aside, I felt like I closed the book on the idea of further education. Once in a while, I would kind of lift the cover and peek in there and then decide, no, it's still not doable, close the book again. And so I just thought I would find my way to a higher income without furthering my education, without going to college. I did take a trauma recovery coaching program, but in my mind, that was, it was nights, a couple nights a week. I think my time investment was like 4 to 6 hours a week, and it was for a short amount of time. So that felt doable to me. So I did look for ways to continue to learn and to grow my skills and to prepare myself to help survivors, but not in a formal educational manner. So let's see. When I was 50, why did this happen when I was 50? Maybe it was the fact that I was about to turn 51. Maybe it was just the fact of 50. Like, we have those years, significant age years. I don't know what to call them. I know there's a term for it. But we have those years that just kind of hit us and make us think, like, wait a minute, I am this many years old now. Have I done the things I wanted to do in my life? Am I doing the things I want to do? And we just kind of reflect on where we're going, where we've been, and it kind of opens a questioning space, like a portal to possibility in our minds. And that's where I was. And so, at that time, my kids were well into school. My youngest was older, and things were just more manageable, more steady. Also, I was beyond like the really hard part of getting through the divorce and right after the divorce. So I had already worked through a lot of that kind of difficulty, and I just felt like I had more brain space, honestly. Like, because when you're working, you go through a divorce, you're in a messy place for a while, and it's hard to just even do normal life things. But I was at a stable place, life was good. And I just had more flexibility, and I knew that my brain could actually handle the higher amount of like what the higher expectation I would have for it by learning something new and going to school. So it just seemed a lot more doable. Okay, so when I decided to go back to school, then I had an idea that I wanted to study psychology, but I wasn't sure. So I had to do some research, like what are the highest paying jobs that you can get with like a bachelor's degree? What are jobs, like what careers are growing that have a good job outlook for the future and all of those things. And as I was doing that, I would read lists of top paying jobs, jobs that didn't need a ton of education for, and they just fell flat for me. They weren't anything that I really felt excited about. And I knew from my first go around with going to a quick training to make some decent money by becoming a dental assistant that I really needed to choose something that excited me and that I felt like I would be passionate about for many years, and that worked with my strengths and skills and also allowed for growth. And that was in alignment with my love of writing. So I kept coming back to psychology. And at first I thought, well, I can only see myself going through. Actually, at first I was like 2 years of school, an associate's degree. And then I stretched to, okay, a bachelor's seems possible. And then once I really just allowed myself to step into the idea of psychology, then that opened the doors to going for a master's degree and being a licensed therapist. So that's how that progression started. It was like I had to accept the first baby step of possibility, which opened the door to the next step and then the next step. For me, like that was a really large, like a big step. I really had to stretch my idea of what was possible, and I had to get comfortable with it. So getting comfortable with the idea of going to school for 2 years and getting an associate's degree. And actually at that time I thought even 3 years, however long it took, I could just do it slowly. And then as that door opened and I started that associate's degree, I became more and more comfortable with the next step of a bachelor's and then a master's. So that's where I am now. I'm very comfortable with the idea of going all the way through to my master's and being a licensed therapist. So that's why I chose psychology. And for school, it had to make practical sense for me. And a year ago, I kind of went through this thing, I guess it was last year, of like, am I doing the wrong thing by setting aside dental assisting where I know I can make so much money and living on a lower income to balance full-time school, single parenting, and what did I say? Earning some money, like balancing those three things. am I making the wrong decision? So I used ChatGPT and I ran through, because for me, like when I'm in that kind of a place of doubt, seeing the numbers, seeing the facts really helps me understand it more, and then I can kind of let go of those doubts and worries. So we ran through the whole scenario of, this is how much, if I got a full-time dental assisting job right now, this is how much money I would make for the next, say, 7 years. And even beyond that, I guess we went through retirement. That's what we did, through a regular kind of typical age of retirement, versus if I made less income now, became a licensed therapist, went into private practice, and then could make that income potential. So we ran through both scenarios, and actually the path where I make less money now and then make more as a therapist later works out to a better outcome for me. A better, like, I will have better earnings over my career, and I will have a better retirement savings plan. Like, I will have more in retirement. So that really helped me, the practical part of my mind align with the passion part and connect each other, and like really go in, um, fully into this plan, instead of like doubting the money part. Like, I just answered that question for myself by running the numbers. So that really helped me, to kind of calm those fears and worries. And okay, so when I started school, first of all, I was worried that, okay, I'm 50 years old. Can my brain work this hard? Can I learn this much? And it was like that first semester, I only took 10 credits. And I remember studying, and it felt like my brain, like I felt like I could feel my brain changing, like new neural connections and things firing and it growing. Like it's so weird to say that, but it really did feel like I could, like it was changing. I don't know if you've ever, I'm sure you have, learned something hard, and it's like it takes so much brain power, and maybe you could just feel your mind working so hard. That's what I felt. And it was kind of interesting. Sometimes when I was studying, maybe I had a more difficult course and I was working really hard to understand it and do my best, I would feel like I couldn't think in a more practical way that I was used to thinking. Like part of my brain just was kind of offline because so much was online to support me in learning these new things. Like when I took philosophy, that was very challenging for me. And it felt like my brain was just working so hard that I couldn't even uh, think on normal everyday things. So that was kind of an interesting phase. And now I feel like my brain is just doing a lot better in all areas. Like it's all kind of come online. It's figuring out how to work together with the learning and the practical things, and just keep up on everything. Sometimes I'll still feel a lag. Like if I'm out doing gig work, my brain's like, what? And I'm like, how can I study this hard subject, but I can't do an order right now? So that gets interesting sometimes. But then I'm like, if I can get A's, almost straight A's, I can do this. And so, I might have to give myself a pep talk. I also didn't expect how much my confidence, like how much I would grow in my confidence by going to school. And I think that the way I would describe it is, when you have a job or you have parents or someone's telling you, oh, that was great, you did really well at that, or you're working and they're like, okay, that was a great report, or you did a great job on that design or whatever, there's always a part of you that's like, they're just being nice, or whatever. Maybe that's not all me. Maybe it's just these people don't have really high expectations. But when you're going to school and there's certain values placed on the work you do, and you clearly get a different grade for your effort, you know that you put in the appropriate effort to earn that grade, And that kind of builds your confidence because it takes away the whole thing of, oh, they're just being nice and saying that, because you see the outcome of the work that you did. Like there's a clear guideline for how your essay is going to be graded. You get feedback, you learn, you apply it, you do better. Um, so that really helped me build my confidence, and especially as a survivor of difficult relationships and things, those will really destroy your confidence in yourself. And you don't, like, for me, sometimes I don't know what I'm capable of, but going to school has clearly answered for me what I am capable of, and I see the results of my efforts. And that has helped me change the tapes or narrative that I run in my mind, um, to being, yes, I am intelligent. Yes, I can work hard. I can study. I can learn a difficult subject and do well in it. And I'm doing that. Like, that's me. It's not someone being polite. It's not someone giving me a false confidence or a false whatever. It's actually me doing that. Like, that is me. And so just to have that has really built my confidence. And it also has helped me um, say no and not put up with junk. Like, the more confident I get, the more I feel competent in my abilities and my intelligence, the more I trust my own, I wouldn't say guidance, but I trust what I'm seeing, how I'm thinking. I trust myself to think and make a good decision because I'm able to study and make a good grade and work hard. I trust my mind to make a good decision. And that cuts away some of the junk, like someone trying to gaslight me or manipulate me. I'm just like, no. And I trust my sense of self and my ability to say they're manipulating me, and no, I'm not doing it. And it has also helped me to um, make stronger boundaries and keep those boundaries, and to be less emotional about those boundaries, to be more like, this is just a logic thing and we're going to stick to it. I don't know. Like, it's interesting how that has worked, but I can see a clear projection of how I have changed since I started school. Um, just under, well, yeah, 2 years ago. So it's pretty cool. Um, so, like, for me, the learning process, I took philosophy. I thought this was going to be kind of like, I've always been interested in philosophy in a minor way. And I decided, oh, that'll be a fun class. Yeah, it's a hard class. It's been my most challenging course so far. And I like to write. I feel like I'm a decent writer. But that first thing I wrote for philosophy and turned in, I did not get a great grade. And I was like, what? Because I'm used to getting A's on anything I write. Like, I don't even really have to put a lot of effort into it and I get a good grade. And I got that first philosophy, I think it was just like a discussion or something. I got that back and I was like, what's happening here? And then she like said something about my opening. I was like, she insulted what I wrote, what I thought was creative. And so I I had to problem solve that. I'm like, I do not accept that I'm not going to get a good grade in this class. So I had to take initiative and go on YouTube. I had to read some articles. I had to watch some videos from um, philosophy professors on how to write for philosophy. And I had to learn a different way of writing. And I did not like it, but I did it. And I applied what I learned and I got a much better grade. I want to say I got an A on one of my papers that I turned in, but I don't know for sure. But anyway, I know I got at least B's after that. And that was hard. It really was. But that was also a confidence building thing because I could have given up. I could have just said, well, I'm just going to slide by and get a C in this class. But I was like, no, I'm going to try to get an A. And I think I know I got a B, but it was close. And I was like, yeah, I did that, you know? So, that helped me grow my confidence. Like sometimes when things come too easily for us, we don't allow ourselves to grow. We don't like stepping into that hard place helps us grow and embrace that kind of just hard spot to be in. Like it's hard, but then when you get through it, you're like, I did that. And now I'm going to take that confidence and strength with me to the next thing. And also, I know I can overcome another hard class because I just passed that one. I got a B in freaking philosophy, and it was hard. Um, so, to sum up, I went back to school because I wanted more opportunities and to increase my financial stability and my retirement future. And the thing that surprised me most about going back to school was the confidence that I have built and how capable my mind is. Like when I started thinking, oh, I'm 50, how's my mind going to do this? And to see that I think I've gotten 3 Bs now. I'm almost done with my associates. I have 2 classes to go. And I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I did not expect that. I didn't expect to be invited to the Honor Society. I didn't expect to be on the Dean's List, but I did it. And that has been just amazing to me. And to see my kids cheer me on and to see them also put more effort into their schoolwork and want to be on their honor roll has been really exciting and fun. Um, so going back to school in my 50s, you know what? I'm older, but so what? There's no age limit on learning. And if that's something you're interested in doing, I say go for it. Age is a number. Going back to school, I think continue being a lifelong learner keeps you young, keeps you interested, keeps you interesting, and it's exciting. Life is an adventure. Like we we can make of it what we want in some ways, and continuing to learn is a big part of that. So yeah, if you want to discuss this further or you want to share a story about going back to school, I would love to hear what you have to say. I know other people would as well. Have a wonderful week, day. I don't know how long it's going to be till I'm back with another video, but I'm glad you're here, and I hope you go forward and you continue to live in freedom and peace. Bye.